I'm excited.
Why's that?
We have an apparel sponsor, Parry Athletic. Such good gear, and it's incredible. I've been enjoying it.
Bro, George came through, messaged us on the Instagram, said he's been following our program for ages. He's getting stronger and more mobile, and he's got this cool gear company called Parry, and he wants to send us some stuff.
And he told me that his mission was to create the best pair of training shorts ever.
Yeah, he wanted something that he could lift and roll in, and that could accommodate thick, muscular thighs and hips.
And that suits us.
Speaks to us.
Also, what I like is I love the colorful design. It actually looks really cool.
I am the most colorful dude on the mats these days, hands down.
Yeah, you get that kind of expression feel. A lot of other jiu-jitsu gear is kind of a bit boring.
Yeah, it's
By
all like
comparison.
grays and blacks and shit. This stuff is the color and the vibrancy.
It makes you stand out. And I think the thing that I've loved about it is just it feels good. It feels good. It looks good. And you, ladies and gentlemen, can get a discount when you go to checkout. If you go to parryathletics.com, when you go to checkout, put in the code Bulletproof20 and you get 20% off. Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. I'm JT and I'm here with the natural Joey.
How you guys doing? Shout out to my Natty King brothers, Caden, Tyrell, Tolo, Levi, Leary Jones. There's plenty of others.
Mikey
and
Musa-
sisters.
Mikey Musamechi.
I don't believe it.
Oh, you think of course he is.
Just to the gills, anyone that looks like that.
How can he get so vascular? My friends, we are getting you in because we are talking today that knee braces are a scam. Now, I don't know about you, Joe. Now, it might have been that I have just been having this conversation and my phone was in my pocket. And then suddenly Instagram's like, yo, did you say knee brace? Knee brace, knee brace, knee brace. Like the amount of ads I've had in my Instagram feed. And the reason why I want to say this is because for a lot of people out there, wearing a knee brace is almost like an excuse to not get their knee sorted. Now, you could apply this to any kind of a crutch. Now, some people might say, oh, yeah, but there's a necessary place for it in the rehab process. But I would say this, if you do not have a good stable knee, as in like you can't do a squat or do a lunge or walk up and down stairs without acute pain, you shouldn't be putting a knee brace on and going to jiu-jitsu. That's what I'm going to say right now.
Yeah,
What's
I
your
agree.
take on it, Joe?
Agree.
Like it's one of those things.
Is there any more to say?
No, but I think this is the difficulty is there's a whole freaking industry based around. You might be listening to this right now, but yeah, I got my trusty Anaconda knee brace. I mean, before that, I had knee pain, but I didn't do anything to strengthen it. Just strap this bad boy on. I'm good to go. Like, there's a lot of things out there, my friends, that are kind of accepted. Because it's like, oh, yeah, my physio gave me this thing that I should put on. Now, I'm going to suggest an alternative.
Wait, before we just wrap it all up, can we just let's go piece by piece on this bitch?
Hey, man, you're the one who jumped to the
We're like
finish.
2 minutes in and you're like, let me just wrap this up for you guys.
No. I just wanted to suggest an alternative because I'm
Well, let's discuss. So
knee injury.
the algorithm knows that if you train jiu-jitsu, you're probably going to have sore knees. It's pretty smart about that, isn't it? And I've been served these same ads repeatedly for, I think Anaconda's the brand, right?
Yeah.
Now, disclaimer from me is I've never tried the product.
Right.
So I can't say definitively if I think it's a hoax. However, I can talk about braces generally, right?
Right. But I haven't used that specific product, but I've used a similar.
Yeah. And so what's the deal there? Why are people strapping these things on?
So
I mean, we know why knees are getting fucked up, right? We all
do.
play the game.
Yeah.
Why are people putting these things on their legs?
There's two things that the reason why people put it on and feel like, oh, this makes me feel safer. One is there's a compressive element. So it makes the knee feel tight and in some way protected. Whereas usually that's our connective tissues and our muscles making the joint feel secure. The other thing is too, it warms up the knee. You know, like it gets blood flow to the joint where it wouldn't necessarily normally be, because joints, but part of the reason why they take forever to heal is they just don't get blood flow. Muscles get blood flow, joints do not. So there is a good reason why you put it on and within a couple of minutes you're like, yeah, knee feels a bit better. It's warmer, it's compressed, it feels safe.
Like a nice warm hug for the knee.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, oh, embrace. But it's actually an illusion. And I actually got this from my friend Teresa. She's like, the reason why it's a bit of an illusion is it tricks you into being like, I'm good to go now. And you're like, well, I've got the knee brace to protect me. But these kind of rubber and latex and like different amounts of elastic fabrics that are in it, it moves around. It doesn't stay put. We're not talking about the calibrated steel kind of fixed range of motion locked onto your leg so you can't move. We're talking about the slide-on kind of soft daddy that you just kind of keep in your...
Yeah.
The problem with this
designed to train with versus that other knee brace is like, hey, you're in bed for 6 months.
Don't do this.
Yeah, 6 weeks rather. I got to wear one of those when I came back from knee surgery, by the way. It wasn't that fun, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, so you didn't feel like shooting a blast double on somebody with that bad boy on?
I'm impervious to further injury here.
RoboCop, basically.
Yeah, no, that shit sucks.
It discourages you. That's the idea. Whereas the problem is with this type of knee brace, it encourages you to get into it. But here's the thing it does not do. It doesn't stay fixed to the area and it slides around. You know how it is. Like you get warm, even you think about your gi, your rashi, whatever you're wearing, you start to get warm, you start to sweat, you're grappling, someone grabs your leg, it slides down. You know, like it's not actually going to stay there and do the job of supporting your knee. It just gives you the illusion that your knee's taken care of. This is a problem.
Right. So the things you mentioned there were like blood flow, compression, warmth. They're good things, right?
Yes.
Like, got to say, like, okay, there's benefit to having a bit of that.
Sure.
And I've used a similar thing, like whatever, like the neoprene ones.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, this feels nice.
Yeah.
I use it a lot, when I was coming back from knee surgery. So I guess I want to make clear to the listeners that those things we're not saying are bad. Like those things are great. But the problem is, let's say the brace was staying in place. Even if it was, you just mentioned then they tend to slide around. But say it stayed in place. Do you think then it would be a good idea?
No, because this is what I was going to say. If you're struggling to just completely extend your knee or completely flex your knee because you've either got ligament damage or tears in your meniscus or bursitis or whatever your problem is, right?
Take your pick, jiu-jitsu fam. Lucky dip.
Yeah, it's just
I got LCL.
Oh, the smorgasbord of injury. There's so much stuff that can go wrong with the knees, right? And I've had pretty much all of them myself, other than I've never completely ruptured my ACL. Joey's got us covered.
Pussy, this.
Yeah, haven't tried hard enough, really. But this is what I wanted to say. It is an illusion in the same way, they market anti-inflammatories or they market painkillers. Don't stop doing this thing that's causing your headache. Just take a pill.
Yeah.
Don't reduce the things that are making you inflamed. Just take a pill. It is very similar in you put it on, you're like, oh, I'm good now. You're not. The structural integrity of your knee is still your meniscus is still it just feels good enough to get going. The problem is you're then going to go and commit actions which may cause further damage. That is the problem.
Yeah, but my game is an inverted 50-50, bruh, and I'm looking for that gunfight. So,
I want that.
My knee just has to adapt.
Yeah, no ligaments, no problems. But so there's a flip side to this. Taping your knee, done correctly, is far better than having a knee brace. Why? This is why. If you have your knee strapped by someone who knows what they're doing, using rigid tape, you can actually limit the range on the knee, even though when the body heats up and you start to sweat, provided the tape's done well, it'll stay put. It gives you proprioceptive feedback on the skin. So when you go to move your knee to a range maybe it shouldn't go, it pulls on your skin. You go, oh, hang on, I shouldn't do that. So it's a reminder that, I don't go there, right? Actually, it's a funny thing, Stanley, shout out to my man Stanley Huang. Stan used to put...
Stan used to train here with us, didn't he?
No. Stan is an OG from Absolute CBD Gym.
Right on.
Funny guy, crazy guy. I love him. He used to put...
Take a wild guess. Chinese guy?
Yes.
Right
yes,
on.
indeed. He used to put tape on bits of his gi where he was injured. So he would put an X.
That's so fucking smart.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh, this is the bad knee. He'd put an X on the gi to communicate, hey man, don't knee bar me here.
That's a Tip from the top right there.
Yeah, I think I don't know if he's black belt now. Last time I saw him, he was brown belt. Dude, the problem was his gi had tape all over it. Hit like this elbow, X, no. This shoulder, X, no.
He should invert the protocol and just put the tape on the good joints.
Yeah, like a circle, green light.
Yeah.
Attack this arm. So it got to a point where there was only so much of the gi you could attack. But it's just because you couldn't see where his injuries were, and he wanted to be like a good training partner and let you know where you could attack him.
Right.
It was amazing. Anyway.
Yeah, so on that point, so yeah, okay, you get that proprioceptive feedback. I guess what I'm thinking is like I think if I boil this down, the problem as I see it is that people will have an issue, which is they're in pain, they've injured something, and that's, when you're in pain, that's your body telling you that something is wrong. And that, it's that feather brick truck. You heard that one?
Yes.
Like universe throws a feather at you first, and then if you don't sort of pick up on that, then it throws a brick at you, and then if you don't act on that, the truck
is coming.
Yeah, so it's like, but Moses was like, oh, no, it's pretty good, knee's pretty good. And so basically you're waiting for the brick to come and hit you in the head. And that is often the time when someone will turn to, oh, how can I keep training? Oh, I'll use that knee brace. And that's the problem as I see it, because folks are ignoring the core issue and using this thing as a way to just mask it, like the anti-inflammatory. Exactly. Yeah. Whereas I am going to say for someone like if you're coming back from a rehab process and you're like pretty good, and it just helps you, gives you a little bit of extra confidence to have that thing on your knee when you're rolling. It's not actually really doing much besides maybe giving you some kind of comfort.
But I just think that's a problem.
Well,
that's like a lie you're being sold on that you could that's where you could bring yourself undone there.
But there's a point, right? And I can say, having gone through it, whereby you're good, like structurally you're good, all the tissues are intact, but you're still lacking confidence and you're still a bit scared.
Sure.
And so in that time, it's like, hey, well, if this thing helps you sort of build up some of that confidence again, structurally you're sound, like you've passed all the tests,
sure,
good to go back into the fire. I think that makes sense. But if it's like, no, structurally you're not good, I think putting the thing on at that point that's the lie. That's the problem.
I think a lot of people don't know. So you'd had surgery, you'd had MRIs. You knew.
Yeah, but I also had the advice of physios and EPs, right, who were like, hey, now it's time. I'm like, what do you think about this? And like, yeah, if it feels good for you, chuck it on.
Well, I guess I'm probably speaking more to those of our jiu-jitsu fam who are like, hey, I got that bad knee.
Yeah, they probably haven't had the catastrophic like surgery thing, but they're like, I got a sore knee.
And they're like, I'll put the brace on, the brace has got me.
Yeah.
And then this is the thing I find difficult, because I've had any number of injuries, but I've gone through the rehab process and I'm now at a point where still have a really high level of function, even though I've had different amounts of injuries, because I've gone through that process correctly and I've got the joint back to pretty much full range of motion almost, and strong and stable, right? Most people don't follow that process. And
rehab guard.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? That I believe the brace, people substitute that. They're like, oh, I don't need rehab. I'll just wear this knee brace.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Someone's telling you 5 years, you've known them forever. You're like, how you going? Yeah, I got that dicky knee thing. Mate, sort it out.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do something about it, right? So part of the reason why I'm so anti knee brace is it's from my own perspective, just my take on it, because I want you guys to save money and not get scammed,
and also fix your knees.
Fix your knee. Strong. Yeah, man. 1, I don't want you guys to get ripped off. 2, I don't want you to keep persevering through symptoms, which are bricks, letting you know the truck's coming, and then get hit by the truck.
Yeah.
To stick with that analogy. And then the second thing on that is, I'm not saying you can't train when your knee isn't 100%, but having your knee taped is so far superior to just putting that on. But most people are like, oh, I don't want to show up early and like strap my knee up, or most people don't know how, right? It's a skill thing.
You usually got to go and see a physio, get a session,
and get them
they can show you how to do it.
Yeah.
Versus I just order this thing online and here it comes and let's go. There's an opportunity, right? Anytime you cop an injury, isn't there?
Yeah.
Where, like you got something sore, like, man, that's an opportunity to bulletproof or to strengthen your body so that you know, I'm not sure if people are familiar with this concept of anti-fragile, which I think was coined by that an author. I can't remember his name. Nassim Taleb.
Nassim Taleb.
Yeah,
yes, correct.
But Taleb, yeah. But the idea is that something cops damage, and anti-fragile would describe the thing comes back from that damage, not just to its former capacity, but beyond.
Fortified.
Yeah, so it cops damage, i.e. fails, and then it comes back stronger as a result. And this is like this kind of growth piece. And I think that, yeah, like, of course, if you just keep copping injuries to certain joints, those joints are going to carry a little scar of that injury. But you as a whole can come back better. Like every time you get injured, it's an opportunity for you to learn more about yourself, learn more about how to maintain the body, learn more about how to make smarter choices in your training. And that on a whole, as I see you as an individual, means you are anti-fragile in that moment because you've got damaged and now you've come back stronger, right? Yeah. And so I think that it's really important we see like those little niggles, the feather, or even if it's the brick, it's like, hey, learn what you need to do with this thing. Don't become, because even with the taping, you might get that tape.
Dude.
And be like, I got to tape every day before I train. You're like, bruh. It's something you might do for a couple of months, couple of weeks, yeah, but it's not a lifelong thing, is it?
No, and I think this is the difficulty. Like, so just an example, first gym I ever worked at, there was this one guy, just like an 80s dude, footy, like this is in kind of 2001, 2002, first working in the gym. He had footy shorts. He was like a dad, super pale, like dad receding hairline, hairy shoulders. He was in every aerobics class. He had like just a Bond singlet on, but you couldn't go near him because he smothered himself in deep heat.
Yes.
Bro, like you would, if you went within
his... Or Denka rub for the OGs.
Yeah, Denka rub. So if you went within sphere of menthol, you'd cry.
Yeah.
And so he'd be in the corner doing step aerobics or pump or whatever it was. Yeah. And you could see all the women would just give him a radius.
Yeah.
Because it was
elevated testosterone levels.
Man, it was crazy because that was, I one time asked him, I kind of was like, oh, what's going on? He's like, it's a warm-up.
Did he just bite at you?
No, he was actually much more. It's called autism. It was like much more. He was much more personable than I thought because he was so antisocial with the way he did aerobics. He was so hardcore, like a Terminator. But he was in the change room just coating himself in this, lathering up in this cream.
Yeah,
and I was like, why do you do that? He's like, it's a warm up. It's a chemical warm up. It stimulates blood flow to all my joints. So that way I don't have to spend time warming up. And I was like,
could have just done 10 squats, 10 push-ups.
Sure.
And, like
a few stretches, something.
Take a short jog around the street.
Instead, he's getting skin cancer. No, I don't know. It's just one of those
I
things.
actually ran into a fella yesterday, shout out Danny Cully, morning coffee down at the local cafe. And there's a fella there, Daniel, I run into every now and again. He grapples locally.
Cool.
He listens to the show.
Nice, shout out.
And yeah, bro. And we had a little catch up. But I'm sure, and he'll correct me next time, but I'm sure I'm like, I get a whiff of that Denka rub.
Yeah,
I'm like, my man's the middle-aged dad grappler right there.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I'll give a story of someone this is a conversation I had with a fellow grappler, a brown belt, sometime this year, who trains pretty hard. He's really, really good jiu-jitsu, this fella. Very hard to tap, won't tap to shit. He's the kind of guy that you'll be like deep on a heel hook. You'll be like, pretty sure like the knee is pulling apart right now, and he's just too busy looking for the counter heel hook on you.
Right.
And he might get it, but you might be like, bro, I think you just paid a price to tap me.
He'll eat the damage to get it.
Yeah. Anyways, each to their own. But he came to me before class one day and he was like, man, I put something out on the Instagram about knees, and he's like, man, I saw your thing the other day, like, what do you think, man? I got like sore knees, like my knees get sore, and he's like, what should I do? And I said, you doing some strength training? And he said, no, I'm not. And I said, bro, start with that, like squatting, some deadlifting once, twice a week. He's like, no, I don't have time for that. What else can I do? And I'm like, what do you want me to tell you, bro? It's like you got bad teeth. And I'm like, bro, brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Twice a day, every day. Nah, I can't do that.
Too busy.
Like, okay. What do you-
Diet Coke?
yeah. It's just like, and so that's, I think, what we're pushing up against is that folks are like, yeah, I get that, but I still got the sore knee and I'm not going to the gym. How do I fix it?
How do I not take your advice?
Yeah.
Any other advice?
That's right. You gotta can do something about it.
Look, I'm going to say right now, knee braces are the same as massage guns, right? They are a f***ing scam. Why?
JT with the harsh words.
You're going to pay money for something that isn't helping you, and you will only use a very limited amount of times, and then it's just going to be in your training bag gathering staff. Like, just don't do it. Like, Joey and I are totally on the same page as we established within the first 30 seconds of this podcast. But, you know,
Back when we're about to wrap it up.
having gone the journey, if you've got a bad knee and you're not sure, it's pretty easy to just hit $30 on the internet for a knee brace or something, right? But the investment, which is what it is, to actually find out the nature of the problem. And, you know, I'm not trying to catastrophize it. You might go to the physio and they go, oh, actually, it's only like a sprain, or you've just got like a minor tear. Then it's like, oh, that's really good information to have because now you're empowered. You can take some action.
Yeah, they're like, keep training. You're good.
Yeah, go with it. So at least then you know.
Yeah.
But that said, if you're not kind of, it's like many things. Like Joe told me this phrase. I think we talked about white goods or something, which was like,
buy some middle-aged shit right there.
Yo, well, should I get the Fisher and Paykel? No, it's buy once, cry once.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about quality, right?
Tools.
Yeah, right. Tools. Yeah.
Buying tools, carpentry tools, building tools, always buy once, cry once.
Yeah, that's right. I think anything, right? Like technology based, whatever it might be, if it's instead of spending, $100 5 times over however many years, spend the $300 and get the thing that's going to last as long as it needs to last.
Yeah.
This is the same. Having the mentality of buying a knee brace is a cheap mentality. It's a short-term mentality. It's a stopgap measure. Just getting something that gets rid of the symptom doesn't address the problem. So as much as I don't want you to waste your money, I also want you to think about, like, what is the nature of the thing? Let's find out what is wrong with my knees so you can actually start to take action to fix it.
Here's not a counterpoint,
Sure.
but just something to consider. When I was living my best life as a 23-year-old man living in Whistler, snowboarding.
Oh, Canada, just invading those Canadians.
Yeah, bro. I was like, there was about 2 Canadians in the town and maybe one American, the rest were Aussies. Yeah. Well, okay, just like, I don't want to talk to this. But I hurt my knee there. I remember I came off a snowboard, hurt my knee, went to a physio. Physio's like, yeah, got a bit of a thing, but it's not a big deal. Here, wear this knee brace. And they sold me, it was just a neoprene knee brace,
Sure.
the blue one,
Yep.
or the black on the inside.
Yeah, of course.
And it had like some kind of rigid sort of plastic hard stuff that was sewn into it down the sides. Yeah, a couple of ribs.
To stop the natural.
And, whatever, it was great, right? Because it's f***ing cold and shit, put it on. I'm like, oh yeah, like it gave me all those things.
Sturdy.
Yep. And whatever, knee was good. That knee brace still lives in my drawer next to my ear guards.
They never die.
Next to, I got a pair of knee pads.
Do you still have your rollerblading wrist protectors from like year 10?
No, never had those. Though my auntie did make me some, and I'm like, I don't want to look like a Poindexter. So she sewed me some. This is for skateboarding. So she sewed me. They were knee pads from white denim.
Oh, wow.
That I could just like pull on
over the jeans.
They just come down. So I'm like, and I always also look like a Poindexter, so I didn't use them. So anyway, over the years, all of that stuff, I've got like this little kind of treasure trove of protective gear.
Right.
And I've only ever bought it once. The ear guards are made by Brute.
Yeah.
I think the knee brace is from Tensor. It's probably like a French brand, Canadian brand or French Canadian maybe. Because I remember the physio clinic were like from Quebec. Anyways, I have worn those things for short periods of time here and there. Like I've worn the knee ones, say when I've ripped skin off my knee.
Oh, sure.
Maybe I've cut my knee, like I've grazed it in training. Yeah. So then I'll put a Band-Aid and tape it up. And then I'll put the knee brace on so it keeps the Band-Aid on.
Yeah.
Like there's all these kind of alternative uses. And I've actually, it has actually been a handy thing to have.
Sure.
But I've not really used it to protect my knee. So I'm just saying there is alternative uses for some of this shit.
Let me speak to that real quickly. Shout out to my boy Big Ryan from Resilience Judo under Dan Kelly.
Resilience, my man.
Resilience. So he was an ex-powerlifter. Speaking of knee braces that work. And one time I came into training to do judo. So Big Ryan had done powerlifting and rugby and decided he was going to do judo to lower the impact on his body. This is a huge human. This is a guy who weighs probably 130, 140. He's 6'4".
That's kilogram. How did you not turn that shit into pounds?
Yeah, sorry, boys.
This is in America.
That's right. Let's say 300 pounds, my friends. 340 pounds maybe. And he was struggling. And I'm like, what's going on over here? Because he was just sitting there in his underwear, basically. He's a big boy. And he was pulling on knee sleeves from powerlifting. We're talking like
the super tight,
half-inch thick, like you usually need someone to help you.
Yeah.
If you're powerlifting, you either have someone strap your knees or you have really stiff knee sleeves. And I was like, Ryan, what's going on here? And he's like, mate, these are only things that work. Those bloody elastic, they're bullshit. When I put these on, I can barely even bend my knees. They're perfect. I was like, are you serious? So he put on powerlifting knee sleeves and then put his like gi pants on over the top of that. And he's like, I can barely kneel or squat, but my knees feel safe.
My guard is non-existent.
No one's playing guard. So it was like, those are some knee braces that work. So there's a little life hack there from powerlifting.
So here's the challenge. Here's what we need to do. Get someone to put those on and then put them in an outside or an inside heel hook and just see if they work, you know?
Just test against leg
I mean,
lock.
do you think that something like that to that degree would actually stop certain forces traveling through the knee, like when a takedown goes wrong and the knee gets twisted?
It doesn't stop rotation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think this is the misunderstanding. Oh, I've got a knee problem. I better just stop what's going on at my knee. Well, you're probably going to then get an ankle problem or a hip problem. Like typically knee problems are a byproduct of your hip not moving correctly and therefore the knee suffers.
Yeah.
Like good friend of mine back in the day, he hurt his shoulder. He hurt his elbow. So he then put his arm in his belt so he couldn't use the arm and then fell and on his neck and kind of herniated 2 discs in his neck. It's one of those things that like we don't address the original problem and then end up with greater problems as a result. It's just the idea of just, I'm not going to do the work to address my problems. This is a very limited mentality that can lead us down the path to personal destruction.
There it is, fam. Don't destroy yourself. Hey, can I give a shout out real quick to our boy Justin from Jersey?
Yeah. Do it.
Cash43 on the Instagram. Avid follower of the program. Been a part of the crew for a long time. We've had a lot of great conversations. He's a good man, and he just got his purple belt, and we wanted to say congratulations, brother. Well done. Purple belt is a special one. I was thinking because, like you mentioned to me, and I thought, yeah, it's a good point. You're a lifer.
Yeah.
But generally, if you get your purple belt, you're probably going to make it to black belt.
Yeah.
So, well done.
Shout out. Awesome.
Thanks for listening, fam. Catch you next week.
Thanks, guys.